I'm Teisha Bader with the JBS News Update for Monday, October the 5th, 2015. Thousands of mourners gathered yesterday at the funerals of two Israeli men murdered in Jerusalem's Old City Saturday night. 24-year-old Aaron Benita, or Bennett, was with his wife Adele and their two small children when they were attacked by 19-year-old Palestinian Muhannad Halabi. Both parents tried to fight off the terrorist, but Aaron sustained severe injuries and later died at the hospital. Adele was seriously injured but was able to run for help to Israeli security forces. Their 2-year-old son sustained an injury to his leg. Their baby daughter was unharmed. During the attack, 41-year-old Nehemiah Lavi ran to help out, but he was also stabbed and killed. The terrorist was shot dead by Israeli police. Lavi and Bennett were laid to rest yesterday in Jerusalem. In a separate incident later Saturday night, a terrorist stabbed a 15-year-old Israeli boy in Jerusalem. He was moderately injured and taken to the hospital with wounds to the chest and back, said to be in stable condition. The Palestinian attacker was killed by Israel police. He was identified as Fadi Alun, a resident of East Jerusalem's Isawiya neighborhood. According to Ynet, Alun had written on his Facebook page before carrying out the attack, either martyrdom or victory. Israeli Prime Minister Benjamin Netanyahu, who just returned from his trip to the U.S. early yesterday, announced new security measures in light of the deadly attack this weekend, as well as the deadly shooting Thursday of an Israeli couple in the West Bank. Netanyahu said the punitive measures included a number of additional steps, including expediting the demolition of terrorists' homes, expanding administrative detentions of rioters, and banning those engaged in incitement from the Old City and the Temple Mount. Meanwhile, Palestinian Authority President Mahmoud Abbas today accused Israel of increasing tensions in the region. This according to a report by French news agency AFP, who quoted Abbas saying the Israeli side and its government have an interest in dragging things into a cycle of violence and are trying through escalation at Al-Aqsa, referring there to the Temple Mount, and settler attacks to escape their political impasse and international isolation. Jewish organizations condemned the deadly terror attacks and the lack of condemnation from Abbas. American Jewish Committee Executive Director David Harris said if Abbas truly desires peace with Israel, he must condemn unequivocally these outrages and take decisive steps to end the violence. B'nai B'rith International said, "We implore the international community to take notice and unequivocally condemn that Israelis cannot go about their normal business without the threat of terror." The National Council of Young Israel released a statement calling for the swift and resolute condemnation by the international community as well of the incitement initiated by Abbas. ADL National Director Jonathan Greenblatt said the attacks come just days after Palestinian President Mahmoud Abbas's highly inflammatory speech at the United Nations, where he called the Oslo Accords defunct and denied the Jewish connection to Jerusalem, among other spurious claims. In doing so, Greenblatt said he implicitly gave the green light for renewed violence against Israeli civilians with a wink and a nod. The U.S. State Department issued its condemnation for the terror attack Saturday night, calling for all perpetrators of violence to be swiftly brought to justice and for all sides to take steps to, quote, restore calm and avoid escalating the situation. The United Nations Special Coordinator for the Middle East peace process, Nikolai Mladenov, said he was shocked that some find it appropriate to justify such attacks as heroic, as terror group Hamas did, when he said they are not only appalling but are also dangerous to both Palestinians and Israelis alike. And clashes ensued this weekend after the deadly Old City terror attack between Palestinian rioters and IDF forces in several parts of the West Bank. One Palestinian teenager was reportedly killed during one of those clashes yesterday. Palestinian sources reported that another youth was killed this afternoon. The IDF was investigating that claim. And Israel Radio reported that an Israeli couple was lightly injured by Palestinian stone throwers at the promenade in East Talpiot in Jerusalem this afternoon. Two rockets were fired from Gaza at Israel last night. One exploded in an open area in the Eshkol Regional Council with no damage or injuries reported. The second fell short and landed in Palestinian territory. Israel's Air Force responded with retaliatory airstrikes at terror infrastructure belonging to Hamas in the northern Gaza Strip. The IDF spokesperson's unit said the IDF will not tolerate such attacks from terror organizations on Israeli territory, and it will continue to act firmly against any attempt to breach the quiet in the communities in the south. While Salafist group the Sheikh Omar Hadid Brigade, affiliated with ISIS, claimed responsibility for the rocket attack, Israel holds Hamas responsible for all attacks emanating from Gaza. And that's the JBS News Update for Monday, October the 5th, 2015. I'm Teisha Bader.